Let's see. All right, this is Dre Tattoo Squid podcast with Josh Roberts of Rosh Roberts Show. Yeah, that whole backward shit, man, it just got me.
Dude, so the whole thing started with, I'm not exactly sure how the name started. Honestly, I kind of forget, but I think how it began was one day I kind of just came up with it, and it just stuck between me and my group of friends. Like, you know, the whole name branding kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a bunch of people back in my hometown that don't even really know like my real name. I don't know them. They just come up, they would walk past me and go, Rush Joberts. I'm like, who the hell are you? Like, I don't know you. They're like, oh, I know your brother. I'm like, well, I don't know you. Yeah. And yeah, it just kind of stuck. So basically everything that is me is Ross Joberts.
Yeah.
Then at one point, my brother tried to do it and did Reich Mauberts. I was like, bro, no, you can't steal my shit. I was like, no, you got to stop that. That is my territory. Like,
yeah.
I get it. You're my brother and all, but that is my copyright. That is mine.
I'll sue you. Yeah.
It's like, I'm the one that flip flops the name, and mine sounds funny.
Yeah, mine, I'm like, I came up with Tattoo Squid. It's actually like TA2 Squid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the whole reason is, well, the tattoo I have, it's actually an octopus, mm-hmm. But I like squids, you know, but then they just had octopus because it just suits. But I just figured, okay, that sounds like a good name. I'll just shrink it down some. Mm-hmm. So I go like TA2 and squid, and I, you know, honestly use it for my license plate. So
there you go.
It kind of worked out, and I'm like, okay. And then I did. I'm like, oh, that'd be great for like a podcast. And you know, 2 months later, I find out there's another podcast called Squid Talks. You know, and I'm like, son of a bitch,
dude. There's a podcast for everything.
Oh yeah.
Like a couple months ago, I decided, well, you know what? I'm going to make a podcast that has everything to do with conspiracy theories too. And I was driving in my car going, so what am I going to call it? Something to do with a rabbit hole, because it's all going to be about going down rabbit holes, stupid, dumb, ridiculous rabbit holes. Mm-hmm. And so I get home and I start typing rabbit hole podcast, shit taken. Okay. Into the taken, and finally came up with past the rabbit hole. I was like, not taken. Cool. Stealing it. No one else can take it. Yeah. So it probably took me like a good 45 minutes to come up with it, because there's so many that have the name rabbit hole in
it. Yeah.
So I was like, whatever.
Yeah, well, I was trying, when I did mine, and I'm like, I typed it in, and I was like, oh, all right. Mm-hmm. Right, that's it. You know, boom. And I was like, okay, cool. Now, then all of a sudden, now I'm like, I have to not copyright it, but what's the thing?
Trademark it.
Yeah, trademark it. Yeah, so I had to go and do all that stuff, and you know, I'm like,
I think once you create it, like podcasts, once you create it, it's automatically like trademarked. I think it's weird with podcasts. Yeah, because it's kind of like I can't think of what it is, but once it's created, people don't really take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, there is like certain people that will go and use like the name and just go, oh, we'll just call tattoos with something else. Mm-hmm. You know, but then even with just that, the name itself, yeah, you know, but I don't know. I mean, you know, nobody really thought about it, I don't think. But it's just funny as hell. I'm like, oh, cool, I'll do this. Yeah. And then I had to think of like picture wise. I'm like, oh shit, now what the fuck am I supposed to do with picture wise? Yeah,
that is the hard one.
Yeah.
For mine, my friend came up with the artwork for the Ross Joberts Show. I originally actually don't remember what the original artwork was, but it was really terrible, like really awful. And I had that for probably about a week or so. And then my buddy, he lives in Japan. Me and him play Halo like all the time.
Yeah.
And he messages me and goes, "Hey, I made this for you." And I was like, "Dude, thank you. This is so much better than the bullshit I had before." Like,
yeah.
I literally had a piece of garbage as my artwork. So yeah, that's what my shirts are, the same artwork he made.
Yeah. Because I was trying to, I did one. Actually, there was a friend of mine. Him and his wife have a shirt shop called Shirt Sharks.
Okay.
And and my old friends, they work in a flea market, and they were in the same flea market and all that. So I'm like, oh, let me go and check these guys out. Maybe I can get something for my podcast. And I got like jackets made up, but it was like more for like the family. Yeah, I haven't really tried to do any mass producing thing because, again, money wise. And I'm like,
were they embroidered?
No, it was more like a not an iron-on thing like you would see in the mall, not like that kind of thing, but it's well, okay, maybe a little bit like that, but
they were heat pressed.
Yeah, heat pressed, but I mean,
okay.
More legit wise, it's not like the cruddy
thing. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, and then I got that done, and it looks great. I mean, it had like he did a painting first, and I had the painting, which is in the garage where my studio for my video usually goes for, and it's just basically the squid like out in the water holding an old style microphone, and it says on air on the microphone, like really like like Gene Wilder fucking shit, and it looked awesome. And then it had like my name like for Twitter and for YouTube, or no, I'm sorry, my Anchor address and the YouTube address, and then I had that on there, and it looked great. So then he's like, why don't we take that and we'll put it on the jackets? I'm like, okay, cool, and then we do like that. But then I want to do shirts, but then he's like, well, you need like about $400 if you want to get like you got to do a bundles of them. You got to do like 15, 20 of them. And I'm like,
400 for like, that's a lot.
Well, this is from him.
Okay.
So that's him saying it, but other people were saying like the place we were just talking about before, that it was like maybe 200 or 250 or something like that. But and even places I went to, that's near me, they're talking about the same amount of numbers, but you need to get like 15 to 20 shirts. And I'm like, okay, what happens if it's not going to sell? What am I going to do with all these, So.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, when I got mine, I didn't even get them to sell. I got them just to literally give out, just like, here, take my shit.
Yeah.
Don't pay me. I'm just gonna give them to you because promotion.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I don't have to pay much since I work there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I basically just have to pay for product, and that's really about it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
See how I do with this threadless and all that. So, hey Threadless, come on, give me a deal. And if you're listening to this, come on. And also I'm trying to get like sponsor wise, and I've been trying to get sponsors from everybody from Nintendo of America, because I want Nintendo Switch, and maybe I'll try out their Nintendo Switches.
That would be fantastic.
But then all of a sudden, because there was other podcasts like the one I told you about, Hops Geek News, he's trying to get Dunkin' Donuts to sponsor him.
That's crazy.
But he wears, dude, you guys see this. You gotta go when you go on Twitter and all that, and you just check out Geek Hops News. This guy has a suit that says Dunkin' Donuts all the way straight down, and he models it like it's. And it's awesome. I was like, holy shit. And they don't even go and snatch them. They don't go and and say, hey, we'll represent you, or you represent us. You're doing a good thing already. So, and then like I said, we could. It was just like crazy, sponsor thing. And what was it? That one and Bones Coffee, which is like a different brand. I think they've been around for a while. I didn't know it. I thought they were brand new. And some kind of donuts. I was trying to do a different donut thing, not Dunkin'. And then there was something else too. I forgot what it was. Shit, I don't even know. But like another podcast, like, man, you guys are trying to do this and this and this and this. We're trying to get Popeye's Chicken to sponsor us.
That would be kind of cool to get a sponsor from Popeyes.
Yeah. It's like I didn't even think about that. I was trying to think of like big ones too and all that. But well, like you said, that you're like more for shit. I forgot the word I'm looking at. The sci-fi. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like sci-fi was. There's a movie, a company called Full Moon Feature, and I'm not gonna say it's like low budget movies. I mean, they're really cool movies. It's like for the kind of person like myself to watch, and everybody else that likes that kind of like crazy humor, kind of looking like horror movies. And I actually emailed them because they had a sponsor. No, they had not a sponsorship, but they had something going on. And I'm like, I emailed them and I'm like, hey, I like your stuff and everything else. I got a whole collection, and maybe if you want to team up to do a sponsorship. And then I got email back from the guy. And I was like, wow. I'm like, okay. And he goes, well, what's the name of your podcast and where can we find you? But then I told him where it was, and I gave him links and everything else, and nothing came back. So I don't know. Maybe it's a waiting game. Maybe they're looking at it, see how it looks, and going through all those. Because honestly, I got like 100 episodes, on audio and all that. So video wise, I got like 30 or something. I don't know.
That would be cool to get something like that, though.
Yeah.
I haven't even tried to get a sponsor yet. I mean, I don't have near the numbers to do anything like that,
Yeah, I mean, I don't either, but I want to just push it out there and see what but I wouldn't even know what to do. I mean, honestly, how do you do a sponsor thing? I don't know. So I'll just wing it like I do with my podcast.
Right.
And just see what goes, or ask anybody else, like, hey, you've been doing this, how do I do this?
I mean, I think a lot of places give you some kind of script or something like that to basically kind of go off of, maybe not exactly to go off of, or kind of something basically to work with, but
like their own like how my podcast host does it, and he's like, oh, just read this and then do the commercial thing. So basically, you're doing a commercial for him.
Basically,
so, I think that's what so it's good. I got the knack for commercial.
Yeah, I think some do like a direct read, or some are cool with you doing like with your own little flair on it, It depends on the company.
Yeah.
But it seems like a lot are cool with people doing their own flair, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think it sounds better when you get somebody's like personal like feelings into something, instead of just, you should get so and so because it is really great. It's just, it feels robotic and just kind of like fake. Like, well, why would I want it? They're clearly reading from a piece of paper.
Yeah, that was like another thing, like intro wise or music wise. I don't know how. I haven't listened to your stuff yet. I was going to do it today, but then I just been running around like a lunatic at work.
What kind do you like? Because I have audio editing stuff with tons and tons of music clips that don't get flagged. They're able to use because I bought the software.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, because I like more, anything that's like dark
Okay.
Dark, because I was trying to go with the theme of tattoo squid. So you figure squid underwater, kind of dark, kind of like
how long?
I don't know, something to skip by, I guess. I mean, I don't know how. What?
Well, how long would you want it to like?
I don't know what. Like, I don't want to say, if I say 2 minutes, that would be too long, probably.
I feel like that. Mine are around 15 seconds.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, like, we'll go like, maybe 30 seconds.
I was gonna say like 15 to 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Do you want to kind of like? I'll make a couple. I'll make a couple this weekend and send you some.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Because it'll give me something to do.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
This other thing that we were talking about, we're not going to mention it now because it's not legit yet. So,
and I don't want names getting stolen.
Yeah, that's why I'm not saying it. I'm not going to put it out there. And, but the thing, like the artwork stuff, like I said, we'll go back to you and see how you like it, and then vice versa. Which is good.
Yeah.
And so what is on the agenda for Rosh Jobbers? I had to think, I can't remember that. So
honestly, I don't have an agenda for anything right now, honestly. Like I just put an episode out the other day. I was driving to work and just went on a giant rant about, what was it? Why I hate the news.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Megalodon. Because dude, I bring up Megalodon like probably at least once a day. Like, that shark is great. And actually giant squids a little bit, and how they probably are, how Megalodon's probably alive because there's giant and colossal squids, and why shouldn't it be? They have those giant things in the bottom of the sea, and why can't they eat those?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, I'm a very hopeful person when it comes to that shark, because
Shark Week is like your week then.
I mean, honestly, I've been pissed off at Shark Week ever since they released that mockumentary back in, what was it, 2013, about them finding Megalodon.
Oh yeah.
I've had feelings towards them about that, because I watched that and was convinced it was real. I didn't even pay attention to the fact that it was all CGI the entire time. I was sitting at the TV with my mouth wide open, like, oh my God, it's real. They found one. And then like the next day they released like some statement going, yeah, we're sorry. We tricked all of you. That was fake. And I was like, you son of a bitches. Do you know how excited I was?
And then you just stabbed me in the heart.
Basically, like, you guys broke so many people's hearts that day. Like, we all hate you now. We'll never believe anything you say.
Now I'm just gonna watch Jaws.
Basically, yeah. And
now that's crazy though. We call Jaws has. I was talking this with a friend of mine, and you had obviously the first Jaws, but then Jaws. I mean, and I'm sorry, spoiler alert. If nobody hasn't seen Jaws, if you haven't, you're underneath a lake or something. I don't know, but if Jaws is like exploded, now how come there was other Jaws going after the family? You know what I mean? From the different ones.
I forget. It's been a while since I've seen any of them.
Yeah, because I'm like, I've seen every one of them that came out. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, wait a minute, didn't the fucking thing like got destroyed and incinerated? In the first one? And I'm like, where did he reform?
I think the second one had to do with its like mother or something like that coming to avenge it. And then the third one was another form of its family, or I don't know. It was, but I love the third one, regardless of how cheesy that CGI and whatever looked. The third one was great, just because
that was the Dennis Quaid one.
Was it Dennis? The one they were in the like the SeaWorld thing or whatever it was.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, there was Louis Gossett Jr. and Dennis Quaid. Yeah.
Dennis Quaid in that one?
Yeah, Mr. Dimples and shit, you know.
God,
you're talking about like the underwater kind of like, you know, oceanic kind of like thing, and then, you know, and he goes and he's like smashing his head inside the window or the view. Yeah, that's one. Yeah, Dennis Quaid. Yeah, he's like the divers and the whole thing, and his girlfriend, on-set girlfriend on there, you know, is like teaches like dolphins and everything.
Yep. Wow. So, I never paid attention to that. Well, I probably knew that. I just haven't seen it in a long time. Or
believe me, I get the crazy knack of like remembering shit that, you know, I shouldn't be remembering anyway.
Yeah. I like the third one. The third one was really good.
Yeah.
Even though it was just, I don't know. For whatever reason, I thought it was great watching him swim around, eat everybody inside the water park and everything like that. But the fourth one, I think I've only seen the fourth one like once. Jaws Revenge or whatever.
Now that's the one with I'm not gonna name any actors because I mean there's one called Michael Caine. The one where they're in Costa Rica, I think it is.
Yep.
That's one. Yeah. Okay. I think it's Costa Rica. I'm not gonna.
I think you're right. I think it is Costa Rica.
Yeah.
It's still. I think it starts out in Costa Rica and then I think it ends up in New York or something.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, because
it's going after their mom the entire time or whatever. Yeah.
And the son too, and the son like it goes. That's what I was talking about. Like it goes from like down to family members and all that for some.
Yeah, they're just attacking the family members.
Yeah, it's just.
I was like, you guys should have.
Vendetta.
Yeah, I was like, you guys should have stopped at the third one. Like the third one was cheesy, but it was good at least.
I was saying this to another guy, another podcaster guy. We call about Fast and Furious, where they should have like stopped
a long time ago.
No, but I mean, like, okay, you had the one where who's the one that died again?
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker, thank you. You know, and he passed away, and then they did like a tribute thing, you know, like for the movie wise, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling them, I'm like, listen, they should have just stopped at there, and then that's it, you know. But then they're like, well, you figure conglomerate, you know, they're looking at money wise and box office stuff, and they had to go and make more. You know, I'm like,
I think what they did with that was they fed off of his death. They what's the word I'm looking for? They basically made money off the franchise from Paul Walker dying. You know what I mean? Like, Paul Walker's dead, and now we're making another movie. Come see it. And regardless of how bad it was, people are going to go see it just because Paul Walker, you know?
Yeah.
Like, people felt bad. They're like, well, we have to go see it now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucked up, but.
Yeah, I think the one that's coming out now, they were talking about having like a CGI kind of thing of Paul Walker.
Please don't do that. I feel like that's so disrespectful.
I don't know if it really is going to happen, but there was like stories that I've seen, I read, and then they're like, you know, this and that. I'm like, then they said, oh, John Cena was going to be in. I'm like, well, what movie has he not been in? You know?
Right. Is it true they're doing it in outer space?
You know, this time
I heard a rumor about that, or it was a joke, and I would not be surprised if they end up in outer space.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised too. I'm like, yeah, they did it everywhere else. You know, I think they were in fucking Alaska, I think, at one point.
Where else do they have left to go? The final frontier. Right?
Yeah, next thing you know, Star Trek's gonna come around. Hey,
Oh my God.
you know.
I actually heard they're making another Star Trek.
Yeah, yeah, I heard that too, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. That you know, you can't go wrong with Star Trek and
No,
Star Wars.
I'm kind of hoping that they do like some kind of alternate for it, just because of what's his name, the kid who played Chekhov in the newer ones, since he passed and everything, because I thought he did great in that.
Oh yeah,
And
oh definitely, yeah.
That was, to me, that was upsetting, because the kid was like 23 when he died,
Yeah,
man.
it's
And
tragic.
but I don't or if they don't replace him, that would be kind of.
They're gonna. I mean, honestly, they will replace them. It's just like everybody's gonna trying to signify we call whatever for that person that was Chekhov, and then all of a sudden here's this new guy. Like, I ain't the same guy. Well, duh. Guy passed away. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
I mean, everyone's going to basically compare them together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
That's if they do replace them. I mean,
and
I don't know.
Yeah, well, hey, it is what it is.
I mean, I would see it. I love the Star Trek movies. I mean, I also love Star Trek. Like, I think Deep Space Nine is probably one of my favorites, honestly.
That's
that's the space station one with.
Okay, yeah.
What the hell's his name? I can't think of the captain in that one.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember the. I remember we called where they had the woman captain, Janeway.
No, not Janeway.
No, I mean, but that was the other one. That was the other Star Trek. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna find this out right now. DS9. Come on. Sisko.
Oh, okay.
Sisko. Benjamin Sisko. That's it. God, why couldn't I remember that? Fucking, he was great.
I know. It's like I'm trying to see about these sounds and see if they come through, but I'll do it a little bit later.
Do you have a soundboard?
I got a soundboard and I tried hooking it up, and for some reason, I don't know if I'm doing it wrong or whatever. I'm like, all right, I'll try it another time. But but I've been doing we call it like on my phone and all that. They get
okay.
But I was trying to do it on my computer and can't really find it. So I'll look at it later and see what I'll just dabble with it for like the next time I get on.
I've wanted to get one, but I've never went through with it, honestly. Yeah. I've thought about just trying to maybe download one or something, because I'm sure there's some software you can download or something like that for it, that you can just assign sounds to and stuff. But I don't do any like live streaming or anything. But I mean, I guess you could do it without live streaming, to like, when you're talking to someone, just push a button, have like a laugh happen or something goofy pop up. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because like when I usually do my podcast, and you're like the only one that's gonna see this. Like basically, I do it on my phone, and that's it. And I go in my car. It's like my own little driving studio thing, and then hold on, I got like something going on here. Anyway, so and then that's why I do my podcast. I go on there and shoot the shit on my phone, and then I see people walking around that could be looking like little crazy people, and I'm like, oh, look at that guy going over here and that one over here. You can't see it, but there he goes.
So you do yours in your car too?
Yeah.
That's cool. Like,
but not like I do the audio thing. Like video wise, I do it like in my garage.
Okay.
So video wise, I do in the garage. Audio wise, I do it like in the car because I'm by myself. I can be able to do this stuff. But like stuff like this right now, with somebody else, I'll just do it like Zoom wise. Then I'll just put it on.
I do a lot of mine both in my car. I have a GoPro that I have mounted to the front, like my dashboard, like right above it. And then I have my microphone tucked behind my neck, like right tucked in the whatever
the headrest.
Yeah, the headrest. Yeah, I have it like squashed into the headrest. Which, see, I have it in this, and I have these parts closed up and have it stuck into the headrest like this. So it's just kind of like that, and it picks up my voice good enough. And I mean, sometimes it kind of wavers a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty good. And then I hit record on the GoPro and record on my laptop, and I do it while I drive to work.
Yeah, that's the only thing about my laptop. For some reason, I need like Wi-Fi, and for some reason, it's not really doing it. If that was the case, I would have had this like out in the garage, and then I'd be doing it like everything from it, you know. So,
do you have Audacity?
No, I don't think I do.
That's what I use to record on this laptop. It's basically just a extremely basic audio at an DAW system, basically like Pro Tools, or it's just so you can record audio and edit it in there for the most part. And I use it just on here and use it to capture the my voice and everything, and then I send it from this laptop to my other one with my my actual software that I use to edit. Because I have a bunch of plugins and stuff that I use to actually make it sound better. Because I've tried editing on Audacity and it just kind of sounds bland. It doesn't sound as good as except when I do it on there, you know. But I mean, it works for what I do.
Yeah, because I'm like, because I video wise, when I do my video, like the later videos that you'll see, like when you go and look at it, it's like the later ones. My girlfriend did like all the editing stuff, so everything that has like things popping up and Vanna White going, you know, or whatever, and different stuff. When I'll talk about like horror movies, and there's all these horror icons popping out of everywhere. And she does all that, and plus like the intros and the outros, you know. She's like, I don't want to put my name on there. I'm like, you don't have to. Just give your initials, you know. And basically her initials are pretty much the same way as a text message, you know, SMS. So there you go. And it's funny, but it works, you know. And she did the whole thing, and I just recently figured out how to do like editing for audio, you know, like putting music in there, putting intro stuff, and putting little shit in there, and then do my put the podcast in the episode in there, and then the later music and all that, and do some other crazy shit. Nope, sorry, it's like this coffee fucking burps. Whoa, excuse me. Well, that in London broil, you know. So, you know, my work, like, I don't know if your work does this too. We go like on a Friday, you know, we get like takeout Friday. So
sometimes
we do this like every week, every Friday we get like some kind of takeout thing. So it's either London broil one week or Chinese food.
Oh,
and then that's it. I'm like, well, what about some other things? I'm like, oh, like what? You know, and I'm like, how about Arby's or something? I don't know.
Right.
You know, some kind of takeout shit, which they did, but it's like we're at the mercy of people delivering it. So
Or every once in a while, basically whenever he feels like it, our owner just shows up with food for us. It can happen a couple times a week. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it happens once a week. Like, who knows when it happens? he just shows up with food.
It's a hit or miss. You know, you walk in and you're like, oh shit, I got Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah.
Right. Like the one time he came back from I think Arizona. This was like a month or so ago. And he brought us all beef jerky, hot sauce, and stuff like that from out in Arizona. And it was great hot sauce. I still have that shit and I use it all the time.
Oh, speaking of hot sauce, we're watching Hot Ones.
I've heard a lot about that and I've never watched it. What is it?
It's all right. In a nutshell, there's the guy that hosts the thing, and this is like I'm going to tell you the stuff that he did before the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he gets like a celebrity that comes on, obviously, and he has like this podium table, all black tablecloth, like
Mm-hmm.
over it. Then he has like a line of sauces that from the least to the hottest. I mean, hottest like you're gonna scream or you're drunk.
I think I've seen clips of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like but then he'll talk to the person, and then each wing or whatever they prefer, like vegan, they're like, oh, vegan chicken, or we get this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna just shrimp scallops or some shit, and they put a dab of like whatever sauce they go first. It's like the sriracha, like the first one. And they go on, and then they got one called the bomb, which is like that shit just makes you fucking just go like bonkers. Your mouth is on fire, but then you kind of think that you're drunk and shit, and then they go on and on to the higher ones, and then they go to the last dab, and the last dab is, I'm pretty much promoting their shit right now. So the last dab, they put the last dab on the last one if they make it to that, because half the people on there, they're either snot running down their face or they're sweating profusely. There was a guy from Saturday Night Live, he just like shit himself right on camera.
Oh
like,
my God.
He literally shit himself. And then he was just like, oh no, I don't want to go in. He's on Saturday Night Live. Let's just put it that way. And then he just sat there, and he just looked like he was like death warmed over or whatever. And he goes, oh. And then all of a sudden the guy's like, you okay? And he goes, I think I shit myself. And then all of a sudden one guy in the background is like, he did. And I was like, oh my God, no. But now with COVID, they have them spread out. Like in the beginning, they were like this, like they'll get the laptop and do it from an or scene or whatever. So and I'm like, and I said this on my podcast, and I'm like, I discussed this too. I'm like, all right, listen, you got people that are actors, and they go to promote their movies. They go everywhere. They do this, that.
Yeah.
And they got everything lined up. And then I'm like, listen, you're going to go to a place, you're going to eat fucking hot wings with hot fucking sauce. And you're going to plan to go to, I'm going to go to the gala and all that. No, you're not. You're going to be in a bathroom for about 3 fucking hours, trying to like eliminate the stuff that's in your body.
Yeah.
And you want to go somewhere else. I'm like, you're fucking stupid. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like,
unless you eat really hot stuff on a regular basis, you're probably not going to be, ready to go afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's what I was telling you. I was even saying this to my girlfriend. I'm like, what were they thinking?
I mean, I would probably make it maybe a quarter, maybe halfway if I'm lucky, but all the way to the end, I would kick the bucket, man. I would probably, I would bitch out for sure, 100%. And I love hot shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'll dabble in it. And I'll just, a little bit here. I'll try this or try that. I mean, there was a hot sauce I tried from a food truck, that was at a venue.
Yeah.
They had chicken, and they had this hot sauce, and I'm like, it was hot, but I'm like, I loved it, and I went and got the thing and I put on my eggs, and I put it on this. And
oh, have you ever had pineapple habanero sauce?
No, I haven't got to that point yet.
Oh, no, it's good. It's good. It's like sweet and tangy with a spicy kick. Like it's not that hot. Like it's real sweet and tangy, and then it has this nice, it's like a nice bite. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's really not. It's not that bad. Honestly. But if you eat a shit ton of it, you might start sweating.
Yeah.
Like, how when you eat hot sauce, you get the nose sweats.
Yeah. You get the sweats and everything else.
That's basically it. It's not a killer.
Let me tell you a little story about because my dad, he loves hot stuff. And when I say he loves hot stuff, I mean my dad's from Hungary. So he came and he loved like hot peppers and hot sauce, and he did everything for, he put it like in his soup, in this, whatever you figure, he put it on anything.
Yeah.
And so I would go and hang out with my friends, and they would go and sell their stuff, which I might as well promote those guys now. We call it that. It's Key Loves Jewelry, which is basically husband and wife. And the wife sells jewelry, whatever, rings, necklaces, anything to your specifications, she'll find it for you. So like sci-fi stuff, and it's like like say spacemen stuff or whatever, and she could find something like that as a necklace.
Okay.
And like ring wise, if you're like a biker or something, you get like all the skull stuff, and like I would do it myself. Bracelets and whatnot. And then her husband sells exotic knives, swords, taser guns, nunchucks, anything that's cool and badass, he's got. So that's pretty much like Key Loves Jewelry. So, but anyway, I was hanging out with them, going to like a venue, and they had these hot sauces, like a certain area. And I'm like, okay, let me get this hot sauce. I'm like, what's the hottest one you got? And I'm like, really, like steam coming out of the ears kind of hot sauce, because I want to get it for my dad. He goes, well, we got this one called What the Fuck? or no, Hot as Fuck. I'm sorry, Hot as Fuck. And I'm like, how much? And then I asked him, and I paid for it. I'm like, all right. And I got home. I'm like, Dad, I got you some hot sauce. Now, I got him hot sauce before. And he tried it, and he's like, well, this one's a little watered down. Oh, this one's a little bit of this. So then I got this one, and I think it's for like chili. I mean, like a big batch of chili. And you're supposed to take like maybe a spoon and then put it in the thing. So he took like a fork and he just scraped it a little bit and then put it on his tongue. And I swear to God, Josh, he was like you could imagine steam coming out of his mouth, his ears, his eyeballs. And I felt bad for him. I was like, dude, I'm like, oh, I don't know why I got this shit. Because he was grabbing like a whole bunch of cold cuts, like bologna, turkey, and he's eating it all cold, and and
it's just not helping.
Yeah, it was not. He downed he drinks water, but he downed like 5 bottles of water, and he was just. I was like, no, I'm like, I'm not doing this to one again. I'm like, nah, forget it. And I think he moved. Well, they both moved, and then I couldn't find the hot sauce anywhere. But I think they fucking threw it out.
Probably. I mean, that's one of those dangerous ones where you start shitting blood afterwards, puke blood or some shit.
I think I said to my dad, I'm like, you okay? Like the next day, he goes, I still feel the remnants of the whole.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh shit. And that was just a little sliver thing on a fork.
Some hot sauces are actually dangerous. Like there's people that have gotten like taken out in like ambulances and shit from eating from like hot wings and stuff.
There's like hot sauces that you have to like sign a waiver, I think.
Some of those aren't that bad, but yeah, sometimes you have to sign a waiver, but some people can't handle it. Like they sign it, they eat it, and the owner of my, I think it was the owner, somebody told me that they went to one of those places that you do that, and somebody there tried to do one of those super hot wing challenges and had to get taken out in an ambulance because they went into anaphylactic shock because it was so hot. Right? How crazy is that?
Oh man!
Really? Really? Like you're willing to put yourself into that situation just for a t-shirt?
I couldn't handle it myself. I mean, just a little kind of like spice is fine. I like that, but just like I don't know, dude. I'm like I sweat enough as it is. I don't need to go and sweat just for out of nowhere. I mean, you go to a gym and you sweat. Like I don't think anybody wants to smell that shit. When you're in a gym and you're sweating, you're like, hey, how you like that whole thing I had to sign a waiver for.
Yeah, after a certain point, it's just like, this isn't fun. Like this is torture. Like I like it to a certain point. Like it's like, okay, this tastes good and it has a nice little kick.
Yeah.
But after so much, it's like, okay, it doesn't even taste good anymore. It's just hot. This is just burning my insides.
And then when it comes in, when you go into the bathroom, it's gonna really fucking burn.
Yeah, you're just gonna squirt out it on the other end, and it's going to really suck.
Not to be like graphic about it. We're trying to give it a low down there for the people around. Like, okay, just a little squirt of it, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. We're not gonna tell you like, oh, this and that. Hold on to the rails. No. Because you might. But anyway. Speaking of holding on to something, we should have held on to fucking MySpace.
Oh my god, MySpace days, dude. Those were some weird days, man.
Yeah, that was like I was on MySpace when they came out with 2 girls and a cup.
Oh my god, I remember that.
Yeah, because I was like,
when did that come out?
MySpace or the 2 girls and a cup?
2 girls, 1 cup.
I'm trying to remember. Let's see. I'm gonna say like maybe way before 9/11.
No.
Yeah, I think so, because I'm trying to remember in the back of my mind, because me and my girlfriend, wife, because I was married, and she was living at home, and she's living in her own room at the time, and I think we were seeing the video.
2007.
Huh?
2007.
Oh, okay. So yeah. I thought it was like way before that, but well, like I said, I could be wrong all the time.
No, like I didn't think it was that long.
I thought it was early, but
it was like mid 2000s.
Yeah.
I remember when it came out. I was a teenager when it came out.
Yeah.
Not a little kid.
Yeah, but then I was like, I'm like, oh, really?
Disgusting.
Yeah, and then they were gonna show, my brother-in-law was gonna show his sister, my wife, and I'm like, I just looked at her and I'm like, look, you don't want to fucking look at it.
Mm-mm.
But what, you seen it? I'm like, yeah, but me.
Doesn't mean you want to watch it.
Yeah. But then he honestly showed her the glimpse of people watching it and their reaction first.
Mm-hmm.
And then he showed it, and she goes, why show me this? we told you. Yeah. And she just like shaking her head like everybody else. We were like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
I remember the first time I saw it, we were watching it up in my room, and I was like, okay, let's watch it. And we put it on. I'm like, okay, this isn't too bad. And it starts getting into it. I'm just sitting there going, okay, what the fuck? And my gag reflex starts going. I'm like, I can't control it. I'm like, I'm gonna puke.
Yeah.
And we had to turn it off because I almost threw up, man.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I wish someone would have recorded it, because I'm pacing around my room like in circles going like, oh, I have to get through it. I can't throw up.
I think you and a bunch of like 3 million people have probably done that too.
Oh, I know.
Or even
But
less. I don't know how many people have seen it, but there's a decent
oh man, do you
but
remember those BME Pain Olympics?
oh god, yeah.
Oh man,
Oh my
those.
god, people, if you don't know what this is,
We're going to tell you what it is.
yeah, I'm going to tell you something. I found out about this when I was living in Pennsylvania, and I was living in Pennsylvania for like
Where
10
at?
years or so, and I started getting my tattoos done. There's a guy at the tattoo shop.
Where'd you live in Pennsylvania?
Uh, there's a place called Luzerne. It's like 20 minutes from Wilkesburg.
Where? Wilkesburg?
Wilkesburg, Wilkesbarre.
Is that Western?
It's like when you get from you're going through Jersey and then like the bottom part where
Oh, okay. You were near Philly. I grew up in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like over down there, and Luzerne was like more like the valley area.
Okay.
And so I went to Scranton, to go and get my tattoos done, and that's where majority of my tattoos I got done. And there was a guy named Dan, and he's like, and we're sitting there, and I'm like the fixture in this place, of the place. I'm like there every other day or 2 days, whatever. And he goes, "Hey, you want to see the Pain Olympics?"
Oh
and all of a sudden we're just like, "The fuck are you talking about?" And this is the tattoo artist saying this too. And then we're watching this, and where the computer's at is where the people will walk in to get their tattoos, like those.
Oh no.
And I'm like, dude, and I don't even work there. And I'm telling them, like, dude, customers are gonna fucking walk in, and they're gonna see this, and then they're gonna walk the fuck out. If you're watching something that's gonna be a nail through something.
Oh, dude, the one that got me the worst is when that dude just sat there, pulled his nuts out, and just took the nail and was like, bam! I was like, oh my god.
So let's reiterate this for the people at home.
Oh man.
All right. So if you don't know what Pain Olympics is, it's a whole bunch of crazy motherfuckers.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was fake though.
Well, some, to the point where, but then you look at it, you're like, why? It's like ridiculousness, and then you're like, why are you doing this shit? It makes you cringe. You're like, ooh, what? And for the people at home, you do not want to watch this unless you really.
I don't even think you can find. I don't think you can even find it anymore. I think it got scrubbed.
No, it's like that and Two Girls in a Cup, because you can't find that shit anywhere either. No. Not to use the word shit lightly, but anyway. Yeah. But since we're Pain Olympics, oh my god, I don't have nightmares now.
I'm picturing some of it right now.
Yeah, that's Josh Roberts.
Like,
he's the one to run this up.
You know what ones I'm picturing too.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know.
Like the one where the dude took a knife and just started just.
Yeah.
I was just like, why?
Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I was just like, why?
People are gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna watch a zombie movie now, and which I was doing that way before when I was at work. I'm like, oh, I'm on break. I'm like, I'm gonna go watch a Day of the Dead, thing, and Nick Cannon was in it. What the fuck was Nick Cannon doing there? Anyway, so we were talking about MySpace, and we just like sidetracked the fucking dimension area.
Demented Town.
Yeah, Dement Town. There you go. We're going to like not downtown, not Pound Town, but Dement Town. But MySpace, and that was like the one thing I could be able to like get my creative juices going. It's like that's how I learned how to do copy and paste.
Yeah. I actually learned to do a little bit of HTML and stuff because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, from that and what we were talking about this a couple of days ago about AOL chat.
Oh my, Dude, I used to have a sidekick. You remember the T-Mobile sidekick?
Yeah.
I used to have one of those with AIM linked to it. And,
Okay.
oh my God.
Yeah,
Those were the good old days.
Like, that was like that switch one, you go, you know.
Yeah, it was like a phone like this and had a little screen with a little ball, and it was basically looked like a Game Boy Advance for the most part. And then you just kick the screen up and it flips around like that.
Yeah.
Oh
man, it was like, because I have somewhat of a story about AOL chat, and I'm talking about AOL like chat rooms. You know, like the chat rooms, and again, there's some people that's on here that'd be like, oh, I remember that, and there's the ones like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? You know, so AOL chat rooms is basically you go in the chat room and it's pretty much you go in there trying to find like a date wise almost if you're in that area, you know, and that's
cyber sexing.
Yeah, pretty much, but like diminish it down a little bit. Yeah, that's what it is. You know, it's like pretty much like porn chatting wise. So I was talking to numerous amount of people, I mean women wise, that and
maybe
also, that's what I was gonna say. We call it, you never know. This whole thing, it's like stranger danger, and
we're just gonna pretend it's a woman for all intents and purposes.
It's like you ever seen the movie Out Cold?
The snowboarding one?
It's a snowboarding
with the Pigpen dude.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're one of the only people I know who have seen that movie.
I love that movie.
That is like hands down, one of my favorite comedies ever. And that was before Zach Galifianakis got weird funny.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's the guy from Days Confused and all, or maybe he went to Days Confused after.
That was Jason Landon. Yeah, he was always in like what were they?
Like B movies,
like sports comedies.
Yeah,
like skating stuff like that.
Yeah, but he was always in like Days Confused, like the stoner ones. And he's been doing like some like actually sci-fi channel ones too.
He's in some of the
like the
some of them.
Yeah, some of the earthquake ones or something.
Yeah, I can't think of what all he was in. But yeah,
he's been
I like him.
But Out Cold, that's what got me thinking about. We call that the AOL chat, because the two guys.
Thinking they were talking.
They're talking to the girls and all that, and then Pigpen's like, "Oh, well, okay," and then there's that one guy from Reno 911. He's like, sitting there all naked and shit.
That movie can never be made today.
No.
But that movie, man, I need to watch that again.
Oh, it's on there. You just gotta pay like like $2 or something. Like
Speaking of great movies, Team America World Police is on Netflix right now.
Oh, Muppets. Yes.
That movie is hilarious.
Oh my God.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone are some of the funniest people.
And Trey Parker did basketball.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so. I think him and somebody else did. They were part of it. I think they were.
I think you're right. Actually, who was in basketball?
Well, they did have like a whole bunch of like celebrity guests and shit.
Yeah, so. I haven't seen that in a while, but I remember it being funny.
But nothing really happened with it. They're the ones that did like South Park, I think, too.
Yeah, they're the creators of South Park.
Yeah. So yeah, but these guys were like, they made one movie and pretty much that was it. Like, oh, see you. Bye. But what else was there? Yeah, but so speaking of chat, so I was talking to this one girl, and you figure nothing's gonna happen with it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're in Iowa State, they're in this and this, and all of a sudden I get a phone call. And given you talk to this person once or twice before on the phone, just to, hey, what's going on, blah blah blah, rub one out, I don't know. And then all of a sudden after we call, I get a phone call and it's like, hey, I'm on this street, on like a major highway or something, and here's the name. And I'm like, you are actually around the area? And it's just like dumbfounded. And she goes, oh, I told you I was coming. I'm like, I didn't think you were, it's like, and it was crazy. Like the whole weekend, it's just like a blur.
That would be really, really weird.
Yeah. But the thing was, I was going through jobs, like because I was leaving one job to go to another job. I had to wait a week, and I didn't have no pay at the time. And then she came around about that time where I didn't have any pay, so I couldn't get no food for like going out for dinner wise. And like, oh, you're gonna pay for the motel room? I'm like, I got no money. And then she comes in with like weed and like a case of beer, and and apparently she was married at the time.
Oh my god.
So but this is me. I was like a young, like 20, 21, and still not knowing what I'm doing. And I'm like, all right, I'll go with it. Manly urges, I guess. So, but that's my reminder of AOL chat.
Wow.
So
that is a crazy story.
Hey, we're on a podcast.
Yeah, I don't think I've never really done much about that like that. I just really remember basically just being the first form of instant messaging, like
you're like, oh, here's something simple, and look at this guy just going out and
like I mean, I would go into chat rooms and stuff and just basically read everything going on and be like, ASL. ASL.
Oh,
ASL, and had no idea what it meant because I was young as fuck.
And which everybody that doesn't know, it's age, sex, location.
I heard it was also age, sex, life too. There was a couple things.
Yeah, there was a couple of scenarios to that, but
it's like, it always meant age, sex, and then whatever the L decided to stand for. But
yeah, especially to the point where you're on AOL chat, and next thing you know, it's 1:00 in the morning, and your dad's like, "It's fucking 1:00 in the morning. Go to sleep."
Yep.
I'm like, Dad, come on, stop. I'm like 19.
I really inhabited. Did you ever hear of GameSpy Arcade?
No, I missed the arcades. So I missed those.
It basically like a giant chat room for people to host and play games and stuff like that, and
it's
other things.
Like a pre-Twitch kind of thing, almost.
Kind of, except video live streaming or anything like that. They would have like rooms for like Counter-Strike, rooms for Call of Duty, like the old ones, like old Call of Duty, like Call of Duty 2 and shit from this was
like Halo wasn't anybody's fucking mind frame at the time.
I think Halo may have just came out like back in 2002 or some shit like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was like around when the first Halo came out, so old as shit. But
wouldn't it kill them to have like arcade game rooms, like arcade rooms come back?
Like,
what do you think about that?
actual arcades?
Yeah, like when we were kids, like we go down there and fucking play fucking video games or whatever and hang,
There's some arcades. There's one in I don't know if they're open anymore. There used to be one in Pittsburgh. It was they had a bowling alley on the top floor, and then they had a bunch of arcade games in the bottom floor. It was also like BYOB and everything too.
No,
I know there's a few arcades around still, but it's few. Like they're like retro, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what else? I think that's about it. I just saw the time and I'm like, wow, we're on here for like an hour or something.
Right.
So, which is good,
Yeah.
That's gonna be a lot of editing. Especially audio wise. Video wise, I'm just gonna keep it as is and put it on there. But I want to thank you, Josh.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. This was fun.
And so how about you tell everybody where you can be at, where you're at, or where they can look you up at?
You could follow. I'm on Twitter. My handle is @RossJoberts, which is RossJoberts. I'm also on YouTube, The Ross Joberts Show, and you can find the podcast on Spotify, Apple, literally anywhere that you can find podcasts, honestly. Yeah. But that's really the only thing I have to plug.
Yeah, and what everybody knows mine is TA2 Squid. That's a Tattoo Squid podcast. You check like all the places. Twitter is @podcast Tattoo Squid. And you go to Instagram, Tattoo Squid .podcast, and there's like a whole mixture of different shit. Same thing, YouTube, Tattoo Squid podcast. Alrighty. We're gonna sign this off here, and thanks, Josh, for joining in. And
thank you for having me, man. This was fun.
Yeah, it's good. We'll do it again, and that other project we're not gonna name, but we'll be back, soon, hopefully for the chat.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
So, and then we can be able to give out details of that one.
Right. Hopefully that comes together soon enough that we can actually explain what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go down there and we'll check it out. So, all right, Josh, have a good one. We're just going to shut this down, and I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks. Let me